solutions that we could work with them. Okay, this next year, March, I'm bringing a group of students to Indonesia. So we're going to Jogja in Indonesia, and we're going to 3 villages there. We have about 20 students, all from different disciplines. Again, we're going there to do the same thing, do an empathy study with the villagers, and then identifying their needs. At the moment, we find that water is not a problem. They're clean water, wonderful water from the mountain, and they just allow it to flow, turn on the tap the whole day. So water is not a problem, but maybe conserving the water may be maybe something we issue. But there are other issues, like they have cassava, and they want to know how else can we use cassava to bring to the market and so forth, and all that kind of thing. So we are there. We're going to be there in March next year. Okay, this ends this section on design thinking and social innovation. Any questions from you?
Compared to yesterday, it seems that yesterday the project is focused on just one department, and right now it seems to be a multidisciplinary. Say if I look from a program, what is the arrangement that between the project that focus on just one discipline and the multidisciplinary projects?
Okay, Chi shared with you how they use design thinking in the school of EEE, and they use it with a microcontroller. Were you there? So that's within the program. For social innovation, we actually feel it's so important to us that it's actually done across the whole Polytechnic. And in the second year, all our students, all second year students have one course, 30-hour course that is on social innovation. And they go through the whole process of empathy study, ideation, prototyping, and so forth. So, and a lot of planning goes into that 130-hour because it's multidisciplinary. So the students are all timetabled, so blocks timetable where the students from different schools, different programs are timetabled together in one class. In fact, the students are very pampered. They're given 4 themes which they can opt for, whether they want to work on environment, social integration, healthcare, what's the last one? Old age, silver age, aging. They can opt for 4 themes, which one they want, and they're put in a class where there are different students, and we make sure that half the class must come from social sciences, design, or business. The other half will be on more the technical, hardcore, engineering, and so forth. Because we find that in our first pilot, that this mix is so important. When they first started out, the students said, we cannot talk to the engineering students, said, it's so hard to talk to the design student. And the design student said, it's so hard to talk to the engineering student. It's like chicken and duck talking to each other. Then they come to realize how important it is to be able to understand someone that's so different from them, that not everyone thinks the same. And that becomes a very interesting learning point. If you talk about lifelong learning, preparing them for life, this is what we're trying to do. Yeah? Okay, I'm going to do this in 1 hour. Active learning. How many of you know what active learning is about? Yes, less than, I heard you. How many know what active learning is about? Active learning. Yeah, one. You know? Okay, good. A little. Yes, you know, very good. Let me know what you know.
I know that there are some activities for student or participant to engage in the classroom. Many kinds, many activities. Like pair discussion like we did earlier, and some kind of group activities, so many things.
Have you tried it?
Just a little group activities.
What have you done?
Group activities.
Good. What do you do in your group activity?
Like give the student in some assignments and then let them share each other, try
Okay.
to solve the problems
Okay, can together as a group.
together as a
Okay.
group.
How about this side? This side. What do you do?
For me, interaction between teacher and students is already active. Asking questions, or if you work in group, then ask them to brainstorm ideas.
Have you tried it? What have you tried? Do you want to brainstorm? Okay. So this session, we're just going to look at active learning and how it's important to align curriculum, teaching, learning, and assessment, look at some methods, and we're going to try some. I'm going to start with an active learning method called concept questions. I think Linda did something like that yesterday, okay? But I'm going to do it again, but a little bit different. So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. If you were to heat a square metal plate, can you tell me what will happen to the metal plate? It becomes hot. Okay, anything else? What? Might melt. Okay, right. Anything else? It will bend. Oh, okay. So, change the color. Oh, okay. Yes. Burn the table? Why? Oh, okay, on the table. Okay. Basic physics. We go back to the concept. Basic physics. What happens when you heat a metal plate? Start to heat. When you start to heat a metal plate, what happens? Simple. Elementary school. Expands, right? Expands, right? Someone said that? Yes or no? I'm not the engineer here, so do tell me, am I right? When you heat a metal plate, when a metal plate becomes hot, you expect it to expand, right? Yes or no? Yes. No. Yes. Okay. Sure? Right or wrong? Are you sure? It's not a trick question, you know. Is it yes or no? It expands, right? Correct? No. He's still thinking. It expands. No? Yes. You sure? It will expand. Yeah, bend. When you heat it longer, you heat it long, it will start to bend, right? But it first expands, correct? Initial. That's what we all learn in school, right? We learn in school, right? Okay. It's not a trick question. No. Don't worry. You all look at me quite. Okay, next question I ask then. If I were to cut a hole in this metal plate, in the center of the metal plate, okay, cut a hole in the center of the metal plate, and then you heat it, what will happen to the hole? Okay, don't talk to your neighbor, just ask yourself first and choose one of these answers. Will the hole increase in size? Will the hole decrease in size? Will the hole remain the same? Or maybe there's none above. Oops, something happened to my... okay, so okay, none of the above. Okay, so you have a metal plate, and we're going to heat it. There's a hole cut in the center. What will happen? So give you a minute to think about it, and I switch back to my 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and ask yourself, will the whole increase? Will the whole decrease? Will the whole remain the same? Or none of the above? Okay, how many of you say number one, the whole will increase? 2. How many of you say 2, the whole will decrease? Okay. And how many will say the whole remain the same? Number 1. And none of the above. Hey, some people never answer. What's your answer? 1, 2, 3, or 4? 2? Decrease? Yours? 2? Yours? 2 also? Are you sure? Maybe 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one?
Might be 1 or 2 or 3, depend on the condition.
Yes. I'm going to answer that. It's depending on the condition.
Okay. Now, yes, now I'm going to ask you to discuss. I want you to find someone, either 2 or 3, who has a different answer from you. Okay? I want you to find someone who has a different answer from you and explain your answer to that person, and you're going to convince each other. Okay? If you feel it's 2 and that person feels it's 4, none of the above, explain why you feel it's none of the above, or 4 or 2, and so forth. Okay? So let's do that. I give you 3 minutes. 2 minutes. Someone who has a different answer.
Before, that's been it's possible 1, 2, or 3. I mean, oh, it's possible. 1, 2, 3. I don't choose anything. I mean, based on 1, 2, 3, 4.
So what's your answer at the end of it all?
You would like me to pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So absolutely, I think I will not pick 4. But 4, if you pick 4, that means all the way
Oh, from what to what?
2 to 1.
From 2 to 1. Oh, why? And what did you say that convinced him? What did you say that convinced him? Ah, a good teacher, he asks you to answer. Ask the student to answer.
When I first look at it, I look at it as two-dimensional problems, whether it's decrease. Even with speed that it is possible, the material can push each other and pulls like this. And it might have a convoluted surface, and then it increases the possible.
Anyone who has a different answer? You look like you have a different answer.
My answer is number 1. But I cannot change the
And why? Is it the same reasoning? That's number 1?
I'm teaching mechanics, so I know the answer.
So what's the reason then? What's the reason then?
The reason
Yeah, why is it number 1?
the strain is disproportional to the temperature change. So the strain increase the same amount. So every part of the material have to expand at the same rate, at the same strain.
Why couldn't you convince them? Why couldn't you accept his answer? I mean, he teaches mechanics, you know. So why?
I forgot to tell them that I'm teaching mechanics.
Okay. Okay, so why couldn't he convince you? Oh no, because he says he's teaching mechanics. Oh, but how about you? You still don't look convinced.
Well, after he explained and draw the pictures, accept his interpretation.
So now they say when put on the stand, they say now they agree with you. Okay, two of you. How?
We cannot convince each other.
What's your answer then?
My answer is still number 2, and his answer is still maybe.
Okay. Okay. Why number 2 then? Why number 2? So he didn't change your mind, you? Okay. Why number 2?
Because I don't know much about mechanics, so it makes sense that the metal plate will expand proportionally inside too. So the holes increase.
So now she expands, yes, expand, but inside. The question is,
Every part of the material must be expanded. So how come the circle won't expand?
No, the circle around is expanding inside too. It cannot expand. I don't know much about that. I thought.
Professor Mana.
I cannot say anything because I don't have a strong background.
Okay.
Theoretical.
I'll let him go. He's very nice. Well, okay. How about your answer? Why number 2? Decrease. He's the professor of mechanics. He says number 1. Why number 2?
I believe number 2. I still somewhat undecided. I kind of into his answer, but on the other hand, possible for the metal to expand inward as well. So I think it depends on the condition. So similar to Dr. Mana.
He's still undecided.
Actually, I just you emphasize that it's concept question. So in the beginning, I pretty much think about the very theory, but if you just think about the concept question, correspond to the first question, you ask the metal with the heat and expand. It's pretty straightforward. But you have the plate with the hole. The question doesn't act as like a plate is expand absolutely, but the hole pretty much can be expand or shrink. The question is not quite a concept. Actually, it cannot be asked very easily based on this concept. If you ask us the detailed question, change the word from the concept to detail, I can explain very clearly the concept question. You might need to ask me what is concept question first.
Maybe we move on first before I come to that question. Yeah. So how about you? Have you changed your mind?
Confused.
More confused. Yeah. But what's the confusion?
It depends on the heat too. If you just heat it just a little bit, maybe it doesn't change the size at all.
Continue heating after that? When you continue heating, what happens?
After that, you're confused.
After that, you don't know. Okay. And the last.
Well, as I already said, I believe if you let it expand freely, it will have to be deformed. Otherwise, it cannot follow the physics of the mechanics. However, if you have somehow